Yeah, okay. Okay. Take him up front.
Oh, okay.
And we'll all get behind you. We can't tell y'all. You remember me, huh?
I'm the one that has to do the best. I'll meet you there.
That was cold as hell, wasn't it?
20 kilometers, 70. These were gas packs coming in.
I came in here.
I was noticing that.
We'll wait till everybody gets up there. We got two and one more of my father-in-law who got his check. He was the youngest. He was about the youngest guy in the group. Wally, come on up. All right, so we want the Tank Destroyer veterans with us in front, and then the rest of y'all follow behind. So here we go.
General, sir, do you realize you have one of your...
I do.
Turn around.
I do. All ready?
He was in your third army.
One. And two. That's right. Press. Ready? Two. Press up! Woo!
We salute you. We honor your service.
Ready? Two! And out! East!
Now, we'd like to welcome you to our Museum of the American GI and Storage Room. This is Brent Mullen, who is president of the museum, and we are honored, really honored, that you could come and be with us today and spend a little time. And these vehicles that you'll see are perfectly restored. The idea of putting these vehicles together, that if we took them back in time and we put them online, that the folks that were there would not notice that they came back from time, and they would just be exactly as they were. That's the idea of doing it. And we honor you for all that you've done and all that came about after World War II that you helped do. So you're very special people. We also honor those that have gone. They were all special. They were all loved. And we would not be America the way that it is today if it wasn't for what they did and the sacrifices that they were part of. And we also remember those who were lost in battle, who never made it back. And we love them just as much as if they had because of what they did for us. Now, we're going to just kind of become informal now and enjoy, and I want you to see what you want to see, and the veterans that you want to get up close to these things, and if you're good enough or want to get in one, you're certainly welcome. There is a danger factor, so if you don't feel comfortable, if you can't climb or something, then we might want to skip that part. But you're welcome to get over and talk to these guys and find out about, and they would love to hear your stories, if you have any. And by the way, have y'all read their website? Have you seen all the stuff that they did? And I took the time to read it, even downloaded the song that they had, the 818. So it was quite something. It's just really nice. So y'all bring them, get them out of formation, let them come visit. All right, so y'all come on up. They're gonna. Those of you that don't know what a tank destroyer is, they're going to explain it to you. Mike will, and I'll bet you some of these veterans would be able to tell you quite some stories about it. Now, we had a discussion. We weren't sure what tank destroyers were y'all in. The M18s. I mean, no, not the unit. The actual tank destroyer. M36 and M36.
We've been in the same.
M10s? And then, okay. Did you ever get into the M18s? Okay. Well, we don't have a 36 or a 10, but we have an M18. So,
didn't you gentlemen all train at Camp Hood? Didn't you train in this? The M3 half track? That was the first tank destroyer.
Can you stand and get your picture taken by Patton here? Yeah. Okay.
how old are you?
96.
96?
Yeah.
You're not kidding me, are you? 96?
You can testify with his daughter.
Wow!
And he walked out of the airport. Without a wheelchair. He walked out the airport. He did, yes. I was going to tell him that he actually heard Patton say that, yeah, you're going to leave tonight. You're not leaving in the morning, you're leaving tonight.
Well, you were considered an old man back then, weren't you?
You drove the command car.
My goodness.
He said he's never actually been
in front of the tank destroyer.
Tell him your
96 years young.
Tell him your story of the night that they were going to see, and they thought it was the next morning and went to Patton tell them.
Oh, when they broke through in Belgium. Officer was there by Patton. That officer says to Patton, I suppose in a day or two you'll send us up there. Patton says, in a day or two you're going there tonight.
And you did, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, we went Tuesday night from Turkey. And then it was snowing, and then when there was roads going different ways, and my officer had to get out and brush the snow up on the side and see which way we was going.
Those of you that aren't familiar with, you know it was cold, but it was the coldest winter in European history within at least 50 years of recorded history in 1944. The Battle of the Bulge started on December 16th, and it lasted through January. And General Patton was asked to move and relieve Bastogne, and it was thought to be impossible. And in the movie, you don't see Eisenhower in the movie, but he was actually there when they were planning it. And Patton understood through his intelligence that there was a chance that the Germans could break through, and he had 3 different places he thought that they might attack, that he had good intelligence. So when he left to go to the meeting in Verdun, he was given, they asked everybody who could attack, and none of them could except Patton. And he had a code, and he called back to his headquarters and gave the right code, and that started moving 3 divisions, and he ended up moving the whole 3rd Army into Bastogne. And it was so cold that if you touched the side of a tank, your fingers would stick on it. And they were in such a hurry that they didn't stop. Once they got started, they went. And the helmet was used for more than just a helmet. And some of the men would get off as the tanks were rolling and use the bathroom off the side of the tanks, and it would freeze on the side of the tanks. That's just how cold it was. They had to cover their mouths a lot of times because of the cold would get in. They could get real sick real quick because the water would freeze in their lungs. It was just that cold. But it was so important that they relieved the people at Bastogne. Bastogne was a place where all the roads come together, and they could have gone just about anywhere from there, and the Germans were trying to get to the seaport of Antwerp, and if they did, they would have ended up cutting the army in half. And it was folly on Hitler's part, but it was also deadly serious. And the fighting there was tremendous. It actually got down to hand, and in many places. So what these men did in their tank destroyers and their service was tremendous, because the only things that could take a lot of those German tanks out was a tank destroyer, and they were dangerous. These things moved fairly quickly, and they had to be ahead of the Army, and they caught quite a bit of casualties and were hit because the German firepower was pretty strong. And these were the M18s and the M36s and the M10 had a higher velocity and they could move quicker. Where's Sergeant Maloney? Sir, you want to tell them about these tanks and what they could do?
Okay. The M18 was designed specifically to deal with the German heavy armor. First thing was given was an up gun. Basically everything we had, the Sherman had 75. This is a 76 millimeter gun. Had a longer barrel with a double baffle muzzle brake. This gave an extra punch to deal with the German 88s, the Tigers and the King Tigers and the Panthers. It also incorporated the Christie suspension system, which, believe it or not, came out in the 20s, but we never incorporated it. The Russians used the Christie suspension. The Germans used the Christie suspension, but we did not. We went with the volute and horizontal suspension, just like what you see on the Sherman there. With this engine, Cadillac engine, with the light weight of the vehicle, with the Christie suspension, this vehicle topped out at 50 miles an hour. This brought to the term shoot and scoot. First time. There were roughly 2,050 M18s built during World War II. Less than 8% were destroyed in combat due to their ability of speed and maneuverability. The gun could literally reach out and open up a Tiger, a Panther, a King Tiger at about 1.5 miles. We were on equal footing with the Tigers. Before, the Shermans had to get within 1/2 to 3/4 of a mile from the side or the rear to take out a Panther, Tiger, King Tiger. Forget the front. There's no way we could take out any of those three from the front with the Sherman. While the Germans, with those vehicles, could sit back 1.5 miles and take us out. Not good ratio. We have to get up to 1/2 mile, they're out 1.5 miles. And no, that's the reason why Shermans went up against German armor 5-to-1. 3 in front to keep it busy while the other 2 came around from the behind up close and knocked it out. The attrition rate on the Shermans were too high. Ordinance came down in 1943 that we needed an actual designated tank destroyer. Upgun it to a 76 millimeter. The vehicle, such it was on its speed of 50 miles an hour, top speed, we had to lose weight in armor. So this is up to 3/4 to 1 inch of armor plating around, but just like the German armor, on sloped, you could use less thickness, angle it, gives you better protection, plus the rounds bounce off. So that's what we did. We took a page out of the German book to build our tanks. So we have less armor, lighter weight, sloped armor, a thinner turret, but it's an open top. If you'll notice, there is no top on this vehicle. It's straight open top. Just like these gentlemen can testify to you on their M10s and M36s. There was no top. It was not designed to go toe-to-toe with a German tank. It was designed to sneak up on a German tank and take it out before they could do the same to us. This was an actual designated tank destroyer. Exactly what it was meant for. Destroy the German army. The 76 millimeter held 46 to 48 rounds of main ammunition inside. For close support, had the 50 caliber Ma Deuce for close support and anti-aircraft, and that contained a total of 8,000 rounds inside the vehicle for it. 5-man crew, driver, assistant driver. Yes, this position had an exact set of controls, just like the driver. His job was to be the backup driver in case anything happens to the driver. So there's 2 men in front, 3 men in the into the turret. You've got the commander, loader, and gunner. The nice thing about an open top vehicle is it's a little roomy in there. In a closed top vehicle like the Stewart, Sherman, the Chaffee, it gets a little tight, and you get to be buddies with them real good. So again, the M18 was the best tank destroyer. They came out. In fact, it stayed in service all the way up into the late 50s, and several third world countries, believe it or not, still employ the M36 and M18 and the M10s. They still employ those vehicles to this day in their arsenals.